So I heard a quote from one of the Supreme Court justices, obviously a female, and I don't know if this quote is accurate, if it's accurate or not, or if it was really said, but like it was something to the effect of someone asked her when she would think that there were enough female justices on the Supreme Court. And her answer was that she'd be happy whenever all of the justices were female. And then the reporter or whoever it was asked her why that was, like why just a majority of females or several female justices wouldn't have been sufficient. And her answer was, well, because there was an entire panel of men, for a long time, and no one batted an eyelash. So my issue with this, and my issue with, I think that this whole massively feminist movement, is that we're coming out of sort of a dark age of humanity still. You know, we're kind of coming out of an age where people are still killing each other over whose imaginary friend is more powerful, which denomination of imaginary friend do you subscribe to. Don't leave this cult of a certain imaginary friend or we'll kill you. Slavery just got abolished in America 150 years ago, and the civil rights movement only happened 40 or 50 years ago, and we still have massive amounts of minorities that are being killed rampantly by racist white police and other people, and that suffer a tremendous amount of inequality. Now, how that's being handled is a different story. I'm not saying that I'm a big fan of how that's being responded to, but nonetheless, it is a problem. So we're still, as a society, kind of coming out of a dark age of treating each other very badly for really dumb reasons, and committing injustices against people for really dumb reasons. Women have only been able to vote for about 100 years or so, or I don't know how long, but not that long, 80 or 90, 100, 120 years. It's very recently. And I don't think that the best way to respond to what I think is really just a greater sense of social awareness of these types of inequalities against women, against minorities, against transgender and gay people. I don't think that the best response to this modern awareness, to this totally new sort of awareness of this problem, is to create greater division and to try to push the pendulum all the way to the other side. Like, yeah, in America, white men have pretty much run the show since day one. And that is a really shitty situation. And I'm glad that that's starting to come to an end. Of course, that was a product of the times. And globally, it takes time for change to happen. And I think that the best way to go about that change is to unify as a whole society of people who are just tired of having injustices inflicted on us left and right, from taxation to imprisonment and the war on drugs and all of these corporate and banking frauds and crimes that are committed against us, and coupled with the fact that we really don't enjoy a full range of individual freedoms, and even freedom. We just recently went on a road trip for 2 weeks, and I was struck by all the parks that we visited and how much money they charged, and all the upkeep that needed to be done at some of them. A lot of them were really well maintained, but I just couldn't help but think. I think they were wanting to charge like $20 per person. We had 4 people with us to stop at the Four Corners Monument. I mean, that's a ridiculous price to pay to see land that belongs to the country I pay taxes to. And once you start to put all this in perspective, you realize our freedoms are not really there. We need to unify as a whole society and say that we're done with cops killing people for no reason. I don't care what color they are. It is a greater problem by far, obviously, in the minority groups. There's no question about that. But to attack people, let's say to attack white people for coming out and saying all lives matter and things like that. I mean, I think that's a tremendously divisive thing. And for the people who have come out and spoken out against people trying to represent the all lives matter movement instead of the Black Lives Matter movement is so divisive and crappy. It's such a crappy, disingenuous thing to do. It's a massive problem. So I think we need to get together and say that we're kind of tired of we're tired of the way that things have run. We're tired of not enjoying individual liberties, and we're tired of being taxed on bullshit, and we're tired of not knowing where that money goes and having it taken from us, and demand a complete overhaul of the system on one united front. And you would think that Donald Trump would make this easy, but they're creating division, the media and the powers that be, and then all of these community leaders and social media and the manipulation of ignorant masses of people has created an environment where even in the greatest, in the midst of the greatest spectacle and scandal in American history, and maybe in the history of known geopolitics, which is the presidential circus that's Donald Trump. And in this time, you think it would be easy to motivate everybody and unify everybody against a common enemy, because it seems like everybody is pretty well unified, at least on the main points. Even Trump supporters largely aren't all that happy with what's going on. And you see more divisive tactics in the media than ever before. And it blows my mind that more people aren't aware of this, and that this isn't completely obvious to almost everybody. Let's stop blaming people for the past, all of us, and get together and actually fix the problems that really exist instead of creating new ones and perpetuating ones that should have died out a long time ago. Quit trying to swing the pendulum the other way, and let's all just find good equal footing and let our kids have a better world than we did, where nobody makes race an issue or sexual orientation an issue. Let's make a nearer goal of the objective of creating a world without racism and without bias and hate and bigotry and prejudice. And let's attack it from every angle and quit finding dumb shit to fight about. Go take care of each other. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to the Looney Bin.